Is the market going to crash now that interest rates have gone up? This is the question that I continue to get. People sitting here trying to relate 2008 to now, wondering, is it time to sell? Is it time to buy? Is it time to pull back? So what we're going to do in this video is we're going to talk a little bit about the analytics and the metrics that we're seeing and how you can navigate them for yourself and your family. So let's get to it. Number one, higher interest rates have created an affordability crisis, which is translated to a reduction in buyer demand. There's no getting around the fact that where we used to have 3 to 7 offers on a property, we now have closer to 2 or 3. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that buyers are navigating an inflationary market where the cost of goods and services for everything has gone up dramatically. On top of that, they're dealing with a rise in interest rates that has affected everything from a new mortgage to credit cards, to car payments, to home equity lines of credit. What is that doing? What does that mean to buyers? Well, when you take that and then you also throw in the fact that there is some fluctuations in the job market right now where, yes, unemployment is still low, but certain areas in the economy, certain tech and different companies are pulling back and you are seeing layoffs or reduction in workforce. That is creating a little bit of a stagnation where people are sitting there waiting for the next shoe to drop. On top of that, you have certain people that are coming to me and going, well, I remember when the interest rates were 10% or 14 or 7 or whatever the number is. And you're absolutely right. I'm not concerned with the rate change as much as I am concerned with the rate of change. It's the velocity at which we went from here to here that is creating ripple effects throughout the economy that both buyers and sellers are still trying to navigate. Number two, so who's gonna buy these houses? Well, everyone thinks that millennials will. The problem is they have more debt than any other generation before them, and historically they haven't necessarily valued buying a house in the same way, say, baby boomers or Gen Xers have. So it's just not usually as important to them. Now they are coming around, but let's just look at the trend data and better understand that. So when we look at the US Census Bureau from 2020 to 2030, age 18 to 44, the amount of people that are entering their prime buying years, that's going up by roughly 3 to 5 million people that are now entering that time. That by itself is great news. The problem is when we look a little farther down that metric, we see that people that are entering age 65 plus, which are going to be the time when they start downsizing, the time when they start pulling back, that metric is increasing by 3 times that amount at roughly 17 million people that will be entering that phase of their life. Number 3, total mortgage debt. Now, total mortgage debt to GDP right now is 75% compared to 2008 where it was 100%. The other thing that we want to keep in mind is the equity gap, which is the difference between the total amount owed on a property and its value. The equity gap is substantial right now, still, regardless of what's happening in the marketplace, as opposed to 2008 where that equity gap was so minor that a small little blip in the marketplace all of a sudden put half the population underwater. Number 4, months of supply and seasonality. So right now, our months of supply has increased. We've gone from roughly 1.2 to 2.6. Remember, those metrics change dramatically though when we sit there and we remove the river, or we remove Healdsburg, or we add Sonoma proper, or Bodega, some of the outlier communities. Depends on exactly what you're looking at. And so you really want to understand the micro markets rather than the market as a whole if you're really doing your analysis. That said, also take into consideration the seasonality. We just came through August, we're just finishing this up. The thing with August is everyone goes and puts their kids into school and there's always this craziness. I know with us 2 teenage girls right now, it's just insane their schedule. We feel like we're just professional Uber drivers. And I know that a lot of our clients are feeling the same way. So with that, everyone pulls back and then looking at September, October to see like what is the last hurrah in terms of buying, selling opportunities for this year. All right, so those were your 4 metrics that we're watching right now. Now, what does that mean to you as a buyer and seller? Well, as a buyer, I'm gonna tell you that it means that you really want to marry the house and date the mortgage. So you're gonna find a property that you weren't able to compete with earlier in the year that you might have a chance with now. And then on top of that, you're gonna utilize the existing mortgage that you're gonna get right now, knowing that it is immediate pain, but you are going to eventually go forward. They're gonna curb inflation, they're gonna pull back interest rates, and you're gonna refi long-term at that new 4%, whatever that rate looks like. But you kinda have to play that game if you're looking for opportunity right now on the buy side. On the sales side, I'm gonna tell you that the next couple of years are gonna be a little wiggy. They're not necessarily gonna be the most fun if you're looking for the next 2 to 3 and you're thinking that you're gonna sell. Things that you can do to kind of stay in front of that is going to be to make sure that any repairs or upgrades that you do, make sure that you stand out as the pretty girl at the dance. If you don't do that, you're not going to have fun in this market. So remember, as we're going through this, no recession is exactly the same as the previous one. The metrics are entirely different. So anyone can help you buy or sell, not anyone can help you prosper. That is what we're here for. If you have questions, you want to talk strategy, you want to talk about your personal situation of how to navigate jobs and all this fun stuff, that's what we're here for. We call it real estate therapy. So if you have questions, reach out. Hope you have a great day. Take care.